Hello students, today I am going to talk about the metabolism of xenobiotics. This topic will be discussed under the following headings: definition of xenobiotics with examples, biomedical importance of the study of xenobiotic metabolism, fates of the xenobiotic substances, purpose of xenobiotic metabolism, phases, factors affecting the xenobiotic metabolism, effects of xenobiotic metabolism, and clinical application of the study of xenobiotic metabolism. First, the definition of xenobiotics. A xenobiotic is a compound that is foreign to the body. It comes from the Greek word xenos, meaning stranger. Principal classes of xenobiotics are: number one is naturally occurring compounds in plant foods. Number two, synthetic xenobiotic compounds, which may be drugs, food additives, chemical carcinogens, that means those chemicals which are capable of causing cancer, pollutants like polychlorinated biphenyls, insecticides, pesticides, petroleum products, etc. Now the biomedical importance of xenobiotic metabolism. Knowledge of the metabolism of xenobiotics is essential for an understanding of pharmacology and therapeutics, toxicology, and the management of disease. All these areas involve either the administration of or exposure to xenobiotics. Many of the xenobiotics in plant foods have potentially beneficial effects, for example, acting as antioxidants, and knowledge of their metabolism will permit extrapolation from in vitro measurement of antioxidant activity to in vivo protective action. Knowledge of the metabolism of xenobiotic compounds helps in the development of transgenic microorganisms and plants containing genes that encode enzymes for the metabolism of specific compounds that can be used to convert potentially hazardous pollutants to harmless compounds. Similarly, transgenic organisms may be used for biosynthesis of drugs and other chemicals. Fates of the xenobiotic compounds. First, the xenobiotic compounds undergo metabolism or chemical alteration, or they can be excreted unchanged. At least 30 different enzymes catalyze reactions involved in xenobiotic metabolism. So what is the purpose of xenobiotic metabolism? It is to increase the water solubility or polarity of the xenobiotic compounds and thus excretion from the body. Sometimes metabolic reactions convert xenobiotics from inactive to biologically active compounds. So the effect may be harmful or it may be useful. So useful effect is when the metabolite is first inactive and it is rendered active and it can act as a drug for a particular disease. And it may be harmful when it is a pro-carcinogen and after administration to our body it is rendered active and forms carcinogens which can cause cancer. So metabolism of xenobiotics is not always their detoxification. It can also increase the toxicity of a particular compound. Phases of xenobiotic metabolism. It can be divided into two phases, phase 1 and phase 2. So phase 1 renders xenobiotic compounds more reactive. Phase 2, in which groups are added by conjugation reactions. This produces polar compounds that are water soluble and can therefore readily be excreted in urine or bile. Very hydrophobic xenobiotics would persist in adipose tissue almost indefinitely if they were not converted to more polar forms. Phase 1 involves hydroxylation by particular enzymes called cytochrome P450 monooxygenases. It may involve deamination, dehalogenation, desulfuration, epoxidation, peroxygenation, reduction, hydrolysis, for example, catalyzed by esterases, and other non-cytochrome P450 catalyzed reactions. Phase 2 involves conjugation with glucuronic acid, sulfate, acetate, glutathione, or certain amino acids. It also involves methylation. In phase 1, hydroxylation is carried out by enzymes called monooxygenases or cytochrome P450s. The reaction catalyzed by monooxygenase is as follows. RH combines with molecular oxygen to form ROH and water. So here the coenzyme is NADPH. So first NADPH reduces the enzyme cytochrome P450, which in turn reduces molecular oxygen and inserts one hydroxyl group to the substrate to form ROH. This substrate RH may be exogenous or genobiotic, or it may be endogenous or non-foreign or non-genobiotic, which may be steroids, fatty acids, retinoids, eicosanoids, etc. So let me tell you about cytochrome P450. It is a heme containing enzyme. There are at least 57 cytochrome P450 genes in the human genome. It is so named because it was originally discovered when it was noted that preparations of microsomes, which are nothing but fragments of the endoplasmic reticulum that had been chemically reduced and then exposed to carbon monoxide, exhibited an absorption peak at 450 nanometer. Approximately 50% of the common drugs that humans ingest are metabolized by isoforms of cytochrome 450. So there are total of about 150 isoforms of cytochrome P450 in a wide range of organisms. They also act on steroid hormones, carcinogens, and pollutants. Most isoforms of cytochrome P450 are inducible. Induction of cytochrome P450 is the cause of drug interactions, which is when the effect of one drug are altered by prior, concurrent, or later administration of another drug. For example, the anticoagulant warfarin is metabolized by the cytochrome type CYP2C9, which is induced by the drug phenobarbital, which in turn increases the metabolism of warfarin. So reducing its efficacy and the dose must be increased. That means when we give both warfarin and phenobarbital, we must give more amount of or more doses of warfarin because the cytochrome which metabolizes warfarin is induced by phenobarbital. Another example involves the cytochrome P450 enzyme subtype CYP2E1, which is induced by consumption of ethanol or ethyl alcohol. This P450 metabolizes compounds found in tobacco smoke, many of which are established pro-carcinogens. So, when alcohol and tobacco is taken together, it increases the chance of causing cancer. Cytochrome P450 exhibit polymorphism, which explains much of the variations in drug responses noted among many patients. Variations with low catalytic activity will lead to slower metabolism of the substrate and hence prolonged drug action and accumulation of the drug in the body. One interesting polymorphism is that of the cytochrome CYP2A6, which is involved in the metabolism of nicotine to conitine. Three CYP2A6 alleles, which code for the protein CYP2A6, have been identified, a wild type and two null or inactive alleles. It has been reported that individuals with the null alleles who have impaired metabolism of nicotine are apparently protected against becoming tobacco-dependent smokers. These individuals smoke less, presumably because their blood and brain concentrations of nicotine remain elevated longer than those of individuals with the wild-type allele. It has been speculated that inhibiting CYP2A6 cytochrome P450 may provide a novel way to help smoking cessation. Phase 2. One of the important reactions in the phase 2 is glucuronidation or conjugation with glucuronic acid. It is catalyzed by a variety of glucuronyl transferases present in endoplasmic reticulum and cytosol. UDP glucuronic acid is the glucuronidil donor. 2-acetyl aminofluorine, which is a carcinogen, then aniline, benzoic acid, meprobamate, a tranquilizer, phenol and steroids are conjugated with glucuronic acid. Next is sulfation or conjugation with sulfate. Some alcohols, arylamines and phenols are sulfated. The sulfate donor is adenosine 3' phosphate 5' phosphosulfate or PEPS. Next is conjugation with glutathione. Some potentially toxic electrophilic xenobiotics, most of which are carcinogens, are conjugated to the nucleophilic glutathione. This is the reaction of glutathione conjugation. It is catalyzed by glutathione as transferase enzyme. Next phase 2 reaction is acetylation or conjugation with acetyl group. This is the reaction where the substrate X combines with the acetyl donor acetyl coenzyme A to form acetylated X and coenzyme A. This reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme acetyl transferase. Drugs such as isoniazid or INH, which is an anti-tubercular drug, undergo acetylation. There is polymorphism of acetyl transferase enzymes resulting in individuals who are classified as slow or fast acetylators. Individuals who are slow acetylators are more subject to the toxic effects of isoniazid because the drug persists longer in these people. Next phase 2 reaction is methylation, catalyzed by the enzyme methyl transferases, and S-adenosyl methionine is the methyl donor. Factors affecting metabolism of xenobiotics. Number 1 is species. So metabolism of xenobiotics will be different in different species of animals. Genetic factors also affect the metabolism of xenobiotics. Other factors are age, sex, exposure to enzyme inducing xenobiotics, various diseases like cirrhosis of liver. So when there is cirrhosis of liver, it affects the enzyme concentrations which are important for metabolism of xenobiotics. So thus it affects the metabolism of xenobiotics. Various effects of xenobiotic metabolism. It can be divided into pharmacological effects, toxic effects, immunologic effects, and carcinogenic effects. This can be understood by the help of a diagram. So first one, xenobiotic compounds are acted upon by cytochrome P450 in phase 1 reaction. They are converted into reactive metabolites. And in phase 2, they are converted into non-toxic metabolites and excreted in urine or bile when they are acted upon by enzymes like glutathione S transferase or epoxide hydrolase. But when these reactive metabolites combine covalently to the macromolecules DNA, RNA or protein, there can be harmful effects. So first there can be cell injury. For example, when reactive metabolites combine covalently to the macromolecule DNA, there can be DNA damage and the DNA repair mechanisms come into play. We know that one DNA repair mechanism is binding of ADP ribose to the DNA binding proteins, and this ADP ribose is donated by NAD. So when there is more reactive metabolite, more binding to the DNA, more DNA damage, more DNA repair mechanisms, so more ADP ribose will be donated by NAD, so which decreases NAD concentration, which in turn decreases the ATP concentration in the cell, causing cell death and cell injury. This is one mechanism. Another is this reactive metabolite can bind to haptens, which are small proteinaceous molecules, which causes formation of antibody to our own proteins and own cells, causing autoimmune diseases, causing cell injury. Next is when reactive metabolites bind to DNA, they can cause mutation and cancer. So this is the reaction where epoxy hydrolase enzyme converts epoxide to non-toxic metabolite dihydrodiol. Clinical applications of Janobiotic metabolism. It has applications to pharmacogenetics, which deals with difference in effects of drugs caused by genetic variation. Next is pharmacogenomics, which is a broader subject than pharmacogenetics. It is a study of role of the entire genome or the entire gene content of a species in drug response. It involves genomics, proteomics, bioinformatics, biochemistry, and toxicology, which leads to the production of personalized drugs by drug designing. So this is Janobiotic metabolism. Thank you.